This is a scene of the rear derailleur pulley clutch test. Hello, this is Dr. Road from Mobilent. It may not be the cheapest, but today I'll introduce the process and components of creating a relatively affordable, high-performance children's bike. About 4 years ago, I purchased a red 24-inch aluminum frame and began assembling it with my kids. These days, even children's bike frames come with internal cable routing. The frame is unbranded and made of common and affordable 6061 aluminum. Using a vernier caliper, I measured the inner diameter of the top and bottom of the head tube. I then installed a 44mm headset on the frame using a rubber mallet. I even let my kid have a go with the rubber mallet. Next, I installed the headset cup for the down tube side onto the frame. I inserted a silver crown race onto the 24-inch air fork and slid the steerer tube through the head tube. Some crown races might require a special installation tool for the steerer tube. Now let's install the compression ring. After that, I fitted the headset cover. I added an appropriate number of headset spacers to adjust the handlebar height, then attached the stem and adjusted its height. Next, I installed a star nut into the steerer tube. You can install the star nut without a special tool by using a ratchet driver or hex socket wrench from a store like Amazon. I hammered it into the required depth. Using a pipe cutter, I trimmed the excess steerer tube. Adjust the stem height to leave a gap of about 3mm. Tighten the headset bolt, then torque the side stem bolts to about 8 Newton-meters. Since the stem is for a 31.6mm diameter handlebar, I installed a 31.6mm handlebar. Secure the handlebar bolts with 8 Newton-meters of torque. For carbon handlebars, apply carbon compound grease to prevent slipping. Next, I measured the outer diameter of the seat tube frame and installed the seat tube clamp. I inserted the seat post and secured it using the quick-release lever. To make assembly easier, I mounted the bike on a repair stand. I installed a derailleur hanger onto the frame, simply tightening it with a hex wrench. Most new hangers don't require alignment, but for precise shifting, alignment is recommended. A hanger alignment tool is handy for correcting bent hangers, especially since they can bend when the bike falls. I adjusted the hanger until the measurements on the alignment tool were consistent. Next, I installed the rear derailleur, which supports an 11-speed 50-tooth large sprocket. Thanks to its clutch function, damper, it maintains stable chain tension even in rough conditions. Without the clutch, as you can see, the derailleur pulley shakes significantly. With the clutch engaged, the pulley hardly moves even under impact. I used 24-inch 1.75 city tires because we don't plan to ride on mountains or unpaved roads, so wide mountain bike tires weren't necessary. I installed one side of the tire, inserted the tube, and then fitted the other side. I showed my child how to install a 6-bolt disc brake rotor. The rotor was secured using a Torx wrench, though we used a drill for convenience. I checked the torque with a torque wrench, about 8 Newton-meters. I also installed the 11-speed sprocket, tightening it with a lock ring tool to a torque of 30 to 50 Newton-meters. I attached a quick-release axle to the wheel to secure it to the frame and mounted both the front and rear wheels. The wheel set features sealed bearing hubs, which roll more smoothly than entry-level wheels.
Okay.
Since it's for a boy, I installed a prostate-friendly saddle. It's not a mountain bike saddle, so it may need to be replaced later. To accommodate my child's leg length, I used 150mm crank arms. I first installed the bottom bracket, ensuring the left, L, and right R sides were oriented correctly. I then installed the drive side crank arm, tightened the fixing bolt just enough for smooth rotation, and secured the crank arm bolts. Pedals are also marked with L and R, and they usually require a pedal wrench for installation, as regular wrenches are too thick. Now for the brakes, I only had Shimano Diore 4-piston caliper brakes, so even though they are pricey, I decided to use them instead of leaving them unused. Cutting and installing brake hoses requires cable routing tools, hose cutters, and insert installation tools, as well as inserts and olive rings specific to the brake manufacturer. Brake oil and a bleeding kit might also be necessary since some fluid may be lost during installation. These brakes are typically for downhill bikes, so they might be overkill, but children's weaker finger strength could make them a good choice after getting used to them. I installed handlebar grips, trimming one side if the grips were too long. After securing the grips, I closed the bar ends with caps using a rubber mallet for an easy fit. Since I'm not installing a front derailleur, I added a guide to prevent the chain from falling inward. I trimmed and installed the shifter housing cables, ensuring the ends were properly widened with an awl. To complete the installation, you will need a 4mm shift cable and corresponding shift cable housing end caps. I pulled the inner shifter cable tight and secured it to the rear derailleur anchor bolt. I then installed the 11-speed chain. The chain length seems to be just right. Adjusted its length and fine-tuned the B-tension bolt to ensure smooth movement over the largest sprocket. For details, check the derailleur adjustment video linked in the description. Now, shift gears and check if the chain transitions smoothly to the larger sprocket and moves seamlessly. It's perfect. Lastly, I installed a kickstand and a derailleur guard since children's bikes often fall over. This video provides a summary of the key information about building this bike. If you have any questions during your own build, feel free to leave a comment and I'll respond as quickly as possible or share relevant product links or resources. After about 3 months, the bike was finally completed and we took it outdoors for a ride. While it might be slightly big, a 24-inch bike is suitable for kids starting in grades 3 or 4 of elementary school, if they can ride a two-wheeler. This is a great season for cycling. Even if you don't have a fancy bike, you can enjoy riding with your kids. Instead of focusing on how to ride fast or well, prioritize teaching them about road safety, defensive cycling, and how to recognize dangerous situations. Be careful, stop, watch out for curbs. They're especially dangerous, particularly at night. Remember, safety always comes first. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Your support means a lot to us and helps us create more content. Wishing all viewers a happy and enjoyable cycling season. This has been Dr. Road, the author of the Master Book of Electric Bicycles. Thank you for watching.